know. I certainly believe that a woman could have been president. Yeah, but that's just me. Obviously not just me, but I don't know politically if it's.
I know a few people had a bit of issue at the beginning of the third season when, the humans, the good guys, were being the suicide bombers.
Yeah, that was hard to play actually.
So, but I didn't really play any of that stuff, but I remember hearing people talk about it and the discussions. For me, I think the hardest thing was, and nothing really changed my view of the world, so to speak. I have a pretty pessimistic view of the world and politics. Anyway,
lovely.
My biggest thing was Six was so kind of religious and was always the one to say God has a plan and Cylons have a plan and all this kind of stuff. And me personally, I'm pretty much an agnostic or an atheist. So I kind of like Brad Pitt's comment that I read not too long ago, that he's 80% atheist, 20% agnostic. And I don't know, maybe I'm 50-50. I haven't quite decided yet. So it was kind of hard for me to do all this religious talk because I don't really have a base of it myself.
My political views never really changed. I think that when I got involved with the show, I was so young. I was 22, and I don't know if I'd ever actually voted yet. I think that that my opinions, maybe it has, my opinion when I was 18 was kind of like, what does one voice actually matter? Like, one person can't change the world and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I had such a pessimistic view of what our, not only our voting system, but our legal system. And, I have this vision of things that everything should be fair. So is not the world, actually, which is what I've learned. But I think that what Battlestar made me realize is that, one person can make a difference, and that, your voice and your vote does count. And that's something that I actually, took very seriously this last year. So. This is going to sound horrible, but it's really not that important to me. I mean, I think that if you are playing a character that is supposed to be a role model, then yes, you play it with all the conviction that you have, and you tout it as being a role model that people should model themselves after. But if you're, we're actors, and you can't play characters for your entire life that have moral standards up to your own. I think that it's unrealistic, and it's also not very fun. So. I think that there's nothing wrong with playing strong women, but at the same time, I would love to play somebody that is weak and that I wouldn't want people to model themselves after. So maybe in that sense, you say that, this is what you don't want to be. I don't know. So it's not that important to me as long as, as long as I myself am living to a moral standard, I guess.
I'm completely the same. It's, if you're an actor, you're portraying the story. And if, say you're portraying a domestic abuse story and the woman is weak, that doesn't mean that it's a bad story, hopefully she gets out of it at the end, but yeah, you're portraying stories. So I guess for me, it's more important to try and be part of good stories and good storytelling than necessarily just playing good or strong or something characters all the time. Right. And it also, like Katee said, makes it more fun when you play different types of characters. I think the more important thing is for us to live if somebody looks up to me, it's more important for me to live my own life in a respectful manner than to worry about what roles I play necessarily.
It's very true. I mean, I think that that as an actor, you have a responsibility being a public figure to live within a certain code, I think. That's just my own feeling. But I don't think that the characters I choose have anything to do with my being a role model. So, because I think I'm a strong woman. So, if children need someone, if they need a role model, don't model yourself after Starbuck,
Yeah, and they shouldn't be modeling themselves after actors in general either. They should be modeling themselves after, people that really make a difference in the world. And, difference in the world. And I think that's part of the problem with our society is who society chooses to be role models. And And quite often they're sports figures that are just as messed up as everybody else, or actors, or whatever.
Usually more so.
Yeah, usually more so because they've got the youth and the money, and you know, so it's fun to play lots of different types of characters, but I don't think they reflect on the person that's playing them.
No, it's hard when people hold, you know, actors to a different standard, I think, or public figures to a different standard. You know, and there's a double standard for all of it, and there's also two opinions. And you know, I flip-flop back and forth about, like, you know, how you, in a sense, are given this opportunity, and you kind of have to lead a different, more, I guess, moral life. But at the same time, I also, and I've said this before, I want to look at these people and be like, it's not my job to raise your children. Yeah, but at the same time, you know, it's hard to raise kids these days. Like, I look at my nephews and I'm like, oh my God, like once they go to school, once they're 9, they're out of your hands, and society, in a sense, kind of raises your child, and that's a scary thing in today's world, actually.
It is. The public figures that I think should be held up to a moral standard are political figures. You know, they're sitting there touting, you know, especially when they're on the ultra-conservative right and touting, you know, all these family values and everything, and then they end up, you know, going and, you know, hiring prostitutes and cheating on their wives and, you know, whatever, and you just kind of go, really?
Right. Well, and it's also right, and it's like I'm not here to judge you, so you can do whatever you want. But if you're gonna be a politician, if you're gonna say that you're perfect, or that's gonna be your campaign slogan of, you know, I'm perfect, blah 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 blah, I don't make mistakes, and then you get caught with your pants around your ankles cheating on your wife, you know, okay, that's like that's when you're allowed to judge somebody, in my opinion.
Right.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Katee, for letting me partake in this. It's been fun, and thank you to all the fans for sending in some good questions.
Yeah, the fans always have the best questions.